I've got to wrap it up. I don't want to, but I have to. I want to ask you just quickly, the film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these
32
people?
32 months got me through my marriage.
Sure. Why not? You know,
own it.
People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. You know, what a terrible thing to do that is. I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
It's making you emotional.
Dog, he's eating too much liver, dog. That's what he's done, okay? Let me tell you something. That's not a normal way to fucking talk about this sort of thing.
Feeling primal AF, brother.
This man, there's something severely wrong with his brain chemistry. It's just it. That's it. Like, that's crazy. Too much meat, man.
Talk about that.
Well, God, you know, it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's like, well, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women, like, be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough.
But
Was
fucking
all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that, Olivia Wilde, it stung you, didn't it? That's all the
by
reaction.
that time, you know, that as far as
This is why Andrew Tate was so dangerous, dog. After a certain point, like when your brain is so fucking irreparably harmed by the benzo plus like all meat diet, even the most like, even the most diehard incels are gonna look at a dude who's like crumbling and crying and shit and go, yeah, that's too much for me, dog. I think that's like a little bit too much. You're like crying. That's weird. You know what I mean? Whereas like Andrew Tate at least like, I'm a top G. I never cry. Crying is for pussies. You know? In a weird way, he's not toxic enough. You know what I mean?
As critiques go, that was kind of low level. I mean, once I got painted as Red Skull, you know, magical super Nazi, that was kind of the end of the insults. There's no place past that.
Not me, I
so
say.
when Olivia Wilde made those comments, the first thing I did was go look at the preview for her movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably, and perhaps I will. It didn't really bother me.
Bro, you're crying, dude. You are crying. What the fuck?
My family and I talked about it right away, and we were able to respond to it with some degree of humor, which then people completely misunderstood. I said I hope that, you know, that if I had to be played by someone, I think Chris Wilde, is that he's a very good-looking man, and so that seems all right, you know. And then I said something like, I hope he gets my fashion style choice right when he plays me. And it was a joke. All that was a joke.
I mean, you've been so controlled today, and yet in that brief moment, you got very emotional. Why?
It's really something to see.
2 months from the third world has.
He's crying for the incels, man, the disenfranchised.
Constantly. How many people are dying for lack of an encouraging word?
26 months, let's go.
And how easy it is to provide that if you're careful. You know, give credit where credit is due. And to say,
damn, they're zooming on his face, dude. Nerds on the internet are the most oppressed, marginalized group, especially nerds on the internet that fucking turn around and say that like black people deserve less and they're getting too much of the podium and shit. Those are the people that, you know, are the most marginalized. Why are they marginalized?
boy, yeah.
Because they can't even say their ideas openly. Their video games are being taken away from them. Okay, their video games are being taken away from them, where the video games now feature like black characters. You know what I mean? Female characters. Back in the day, video games were not political. Now they got political characters like that. It's really fucked up.
You're a net force for good if you want to be.
How can he have so much sympathy and empathy for like incel dudes, right? And talk about them as though they are like the most marginalized people on the planet. And there is a level of that. Especially because like a lot of these dudes are neurodivergent, right? Like there's a lot of incels that have like, you know, not the best mental health, all this shit, right? There are degrees of marginalization occurring with respect to these incels and shit like that too. But having said that, how do you have that level of fucking sympathy for those, right? Which I have some level of sympathy as well, and I talk about it all the time. But then when it comes to like a trans person, you're like, no, what your doctors are doing are butchering you. Like, that's crazy. You are overall such a horrifyingly awful human being when it comes to like other forms of marginalization, that it's like impossible for me to take you seriously when you are talking about fucking incels and shit. JG11 Bravo, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift subs. People who are asking like about the authenticity of this, right? I do think it's authentic. I think his tears are real. I don't think Jordan Peterson is like good enough of an actor to fake cry about shit. I think those tears are very much real. I do also believe that his brain is broken.
3 months of
like I think that's the reason. I think that's the reason why he's like crying real tears when he thinks about like a white weirdo kid who's like in these fucking forums writing about like Pokemon's underwear or whatever is like the real victim of society. You know what I mean?
Round 3.
Like those are the real victims in Jordan Peterson's idea. In Jordan Peterson's like ideal world, those are the only people that are victims. You know what I mean? Like Leafy is here fans and shit. And
has slam.
And I think that the reason why he feels that way is one, because he understands like where they're coming from, and two, because his brain is broken.
Do you believe you're a net force for good?
Net, yes. In all the details, probably not. You know, no one's perfect. So
that's why he said net.
People make their mistakes as they stumble uphill.
Jordan's been a fascinating interview.
Bro, he is weeping. There's like snot coming out of his nose. This is like, how are you going to tell me if he's like crying real tears or not? Also, it's infinitely funnier that he is crying real tears. I can't be alone in this, I think.
Greg Goodfield going crazy on the 5 right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've got this new box set out.
Yeah, pretty happy about that.
Jordan B. Peterson, 24 Rules for Life and Beyond Order. Fascinating book.
Damn, he went from 12 to 24. What are the other 12 rules? He added 12 extra rules. You didn't even cry when he met Liver King? Oh, fuck. Meghan McCain blocked me. God damn it. Everyone wants a woman in power until it's a conservative woman in power. Oh, hell yeah. Meghan McCain is such a girl boss, dude. Good for you, Meghan. You and Hillary Clinton
I'm late
both.
To stream, but have you seen this? We're also happy 23 months.
Like, I do. Here's what I think, okay? Speecha, thank you for the 5 get the subs. And JG11 Bravo, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Here's what I think. I think incels do deserve sympathy. Controversial take, I know. Everyone does. I try to lead by empathy all the time. But there's a level to it. My empathy for you stops the moment that you start attacking other people, especially other people over their inalienable characteristics, especially attacking people over like preconceived notions that you have about their about like whatever kind of weird stereotype you have of them in your head. And incels oftentimes are attacking a lot of other people, including myself, regularly. Speecha! Thank you for the 50 gifted subs, by the way. Okay? That's my take. That's why, you know, you catch me in a good moment and some fucking weirdo is saying like the most unhinged shit in my chat. I'm still going to try to be like, listen, man, you can change. You can get better. I know that's going to fall on deaf ears because that person probably thinks, because of all of their preconditioning, that person probably thinks I'm being sarcastic when I say I do care about you.
Another month closer.
You know,
to
I do
Van
care about
Hassel.
you. I hope you get better. I don't know. Ben should be on Lizzo's crystal flute and twerking.
Controversial.
Someone on Twitter said you can spot someone when they're a conservative without them saying anything because they're the only people that look worse with a beard, and I agree. Conservatives have this weird thing where like most men look better with a beard. Most men do. Okay? Except conservatives. They just like somehow still look worse.
They've sold how many millions now?
Well, 12 Rules sold 7, and I think Beyond Order is approaching 1 million now. So, yeah, they're
Extraordinary.
doing just fine.
Did you ever think you'd sell that number of books?
I never thought any of this would happen, you know, I mean, so, yeah, I knew when I was teaching at Harvard and at the University of Toronto that some of the things I was teaching were revolutionary. I was surprised that I got away with it, let's say, as long as I did. And so there's a way in which it doesn't surprise me. And I wouldn't say that's because of the brilliance of my ideas. It's because...
Dude, he's so revolutionary. He was another conservative professor at Harvard, which, of course, famously, there are none. I love that. I love the notion that, like, you know, Harvard, an institution filled to the fucking very brim with, like, 75-year-old, neck-bearded, weird, perverted right-wing professors, you know, those guys are all, you know, Jordan Peterson was another man amongst them teaching revolutionary things like pick yourself up by your bootstraps and communism is bad. So wild, so revolutionary. Has anyone legitimately thought that any of the things that he has ever said was considered revolutionary, like, or different or disruptive, really? Like, why? Why do we act like business school doesn't exist? Why do we act like most of these professors aren't, like, super right-wing? The only left-wing thought they have is that, like, gay people shouldn't be fucking dissolved into a vat of acid for their moral degeneracy. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean that they're fucking leftists, man. I'm sick and tired of this notion that, like, oh, man, well, these Harvard professors, they think, like, you shouldn't be murdered if you're trans. Oh, wow. How fucking woke are they? You know what I mean? That's crazy. Wow, so progressive. Thank you.
I'm good at communicating ideas, but the ideas that I've been developing, they're ancient ideas. They're the oldest ideas we have in some.
So it's not revolutionary. Got it. Okay, so it's not disruptive, nor is it revolutionary, nor is it any different than any number of different fucking ideas that you hear any place.
No sense. So
You're
they have a power.
Right, absolutely. You're launched the Peterson Academy. Tell me about that quickly.
Yeah, well, I've been collecting, along with my daughter, great professors and educators from all around the world, and we're having them come to Miami to film 4 two-hour lectures on a variety of topics. President of Hillsdale College, Larry Arnn, just taped one for us on Churchill, which I thought was quite funny because, you know, he's persona non grata. And so Arnn and Churchill, so that's quite funny. And we're hoping that we can determine how to provide people a very efficient and very low-cost alternative to a bachelor's degree. And we're working hard to make that accredited. I'd like to drive the cost of a bachelor's degree from its current $160,000 level to $4,000. And I think we can do it. So that's the plan. We're going to launch in either early 2023, depending on how quickly we can get things aggregated. And I'm working with my son on an app called Essay.app. We took a document.
That's awesome. He's just like hitting the fucking full tilt. Every scam you can make. Yeah, Hustlers University. I love that. He's hitting every scam you can hit, which respect, you know?
I wrote for my students that help them learn how to write and edit. And editing is very important if you write, and people are never taught to edit. And it builds editing tools into the software, and we have 4,500 subscribers and 50,000 users. We launched about 2 months ago. I'd like to teach 1 million people to write. So,
and just finally, you're healthy, you look healthy.
Pretty good.
And
much better.
Your wife's doing a lot better than she was?
She's back better than she was before even, and my daughter's not ill either, so fancy that.
I mean, that's an amazing turnaround from where you were.
That's for sure, man. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
You know, my wife almost died every day for 7 months.
What?
So.
Then what did she have? Did she have cancer or something?
Sir.
I really am. It's been a really fascinating interview.
Doug D. Wait, how tall is Liver King? At Hasan Abai.
I don't know how tall he is. All right, let's look at the comments. The fact that he broke when he's speaking, those are downtrodden, shows exactly who he is at heart. A true gift to this world. I'm crying right alongside him. Those young men are so alone, so lacking connection and meaningful support. Piers trying to get him off the air as soon as he realizes how bashful he is. Nah, Piers loves